MHz, symbol rate 30 Mbps, orbital position 68.5 degree east, and horizontal polarization. You can also keep in touch with episodes of our programs via these social media platforms. For inquiries, please call 070-3265-6544 or mail us via inquiries@acnntv.com. ACNN, reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.
Hello viewers, welcome to the ACNN News Update. The Anglican faithful in Anambra State have been charged to be strong and stand against intimidation and all the vices going on in the state. Now this is the admonition of the Archbishop Ecclesiastical Province of the Niger, Most Reverend Alexander Ibezim, which he made as they gathered to pray at the Anglican prayer rally of the Anambra State APRAS 2021. Charles Philip Wakalam, who was there for ACNN TV, reveals that Anglican bishops in the state and their delegates gathered en masse to pray for the state, the nation, and for the church. We'll give you full details of the event later. An Igbo interest group, Igbos for Progressive Nigeria (IPON), has called on a number of residents who are eligible to vote in the forthcoming governorship election in the state to be vigilant while performing their civic responsibilities. The group, during a press conference, advised the voters to evaluate all the candidates based on their pedigree, either in private or public life, to determine who can manage the tiny resources of the state for the betterment of all. Mr. Lawrence Onuzulike, IPAN national president, who made the call at a press conference in Oka, charged the Anambra electorate to shine their eyes, as it was another privilege for them to reintegrate into the national polity. Mr. Onuzulike stressed that the Anambra elections scheduled to hold would offer a fresh opportunity to the people of the state to correct their previous mistakes. Members of Sudan's transitional government and other civilian leaders have been arrested amid reports of a military coup. Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok is among those reported to have been put under house arrest by unidentified soldiers, as the army has not commented, but pro-democracy groups urged street protesters. Meanwhile, military and civilian leaders have been at odds since longtime ruler Omar Bashir was overthrown 2 years ago, as it remains unclear who was behind the pre-dawn arrests. A statement from Information Ministry on Facebook said the detentions were carried out by joint military forces and those arrested were being held in an unidentified location. But the army and paramilitary have been deployed across the city, restricting the movement of civilians. And the UN World Food Programme warned that millions of Afghans will face starvation this winter unless urgent action is taken, saying about 22.8 million people are currently faced with acute food insecurity, while 3.2 million children under 5 could suffer acute malnutrition. The executive director of the WFP, David Beasley, said Afghanistan is now among the world's worst humanitarian crises, if not the worst, adding that they are on a countdown to catastrophe. Meanwhile, Afghanistan fell to Taliban in August after the U.S. pulled out the last of its remaining troops and the militias swept across the country, retaking ground, but the takeover deteriorated an already economy that was heavily dependent on foreign aid. On sports news now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insisted he is the right man to manage Manchester United despite a historic hammering by Liverpool on Sunday as Mohamed Salah scored a hat-trick in a 5-0 rout at Old Trafford. For the first time in Premier League history, United trailed 4-0 at half-time and lost by 5 goals without scoring at home for the first time since 1955. The Red Devils have now taken 1 point from a possible 12th in the league to fall to 7th, 8 points off leaders Chelsea. So that's it for the news update. Please join us by 3 p.m. West African time for the news on the hour. I am Zubichi Frank. Bye for now.